welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. If you are new here, this is my channel that is about cross-stitch, and that's the main thing right now, but I might also throw in my paper crafting or other crafty things that I do. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to try not to say a lot, but we'll see. If you saw my very first Flosstube episode about a month ago, that was my first Flosstube ever, and it was my whip parade. And if you tuned into that, thank you so much. I had an overwhelming response in the most positive way, with people commenting, subscribing to my channel. I got 1,000 subscribers basically off that one video, which is shocking to me. I had dozens of people reach out privately and message me about various things, and just the overwhelming kindness of strangers was overwhelming. So thank you so much for your support and your kind words and your advice. If you left me advice, I did try to reach out and comment back to everybody's comments. If I missed you, I'm so sorry, but I think I got everyone. So I did want to give a little update. So again, it was about almost a month ago maybe since I posted my first video, and before that video I did do my whip parade. I also mentioned that I was going on vacation shortly after. I did take my son to Walt Disney World for a week, so he and I did a mommy-son trip, which turned out great. We had a great time. Our travel was fairly easy, and you know, we got to Disney World. The weather was cool. It wasn't really hot, so that was a nice surprise. It was very busy, which was a little surprising for that time of year that we went, but that's okay. And it's funny because he wasn't really interested in riding rides, and he wasn't super interested in meeting any characters. So he's at the age now where he does have opinions, and he does have a little bit of attitude sometimes. So figuring out kind of us meeting in the middle of what we wanted to do every day was a little not challenging, but it just meant that every day was different, so we didn't have a ton of set plans, which was actually great because it allowed us to just go with the flow of the day. If we did want to do something, we did it. If we wanted to swim, we swam. He swam because it was kind of cold, or he splashed anyways in the splash pad of our resort. And it allowed me to do a lot of things. I've been to Disney several times now, and every trip's had a little bit of an issue. So this trip was interesting because I was just with him, it allowed me to do things that I wouldn't normally do. So we took a slow pace, and we just, you know, I rode rides that I would have never ridden before, and we just explored a lot more. So it was a really good time, and it was just honestly nice to get away and be away from life and just have a break. And we did, of course, miss baby sister was at home with dad and grandma, so we definitely missed them, but it was nice for him to just have some one-on-one time with me, where there wasn't a lot of rules and we just kind of got to do whatever, and so it was really nice. So we had a good time there. Since we came back on January 31st, really late. Obviously went straight to bed, and then the next week it was just about kind of getting back into gear of daily life and whatnot. So that first week of February, I did a lot of stitching, and just a lot of cleaning and, you know, different things around the house and whatnot. We did have several appointments we had to go to, and then after that week, so this past week, we all got sick. So we've been dealing with doctor's appointments, colds, fevers, and now my baby daughter she had her flu shot day before yesterday, which gave her a pretty bad fever, and she's really, really badly teething. So we're all running on very low sleep, and a little harried. So it's been a little bit of a struggle this past week, just because I'm running on the amount of sleep I got when, you know, I had a newborn versus a kind of more normal amount. So I'm a little tired, but that's okay. And then we woke up today and we don't have any water in our house. So I'm sure it's not an us issue. I'm sure it's a city issue. It's happened before. So hopefully soon we'll have some water. We had really low water pressure this morning, and then it just slowly trickled off. And last time this happened, maybe a month ago or less, it took a few hours and it came back on. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but hopefully that returns soon, because especially if you have kids, you need water. I've tried to wash my hands about 5 times and failed because I've turned on the sink and nothing comes out. So that's been fun. But anyways, let's get into the stitching. So I did do a little bit of stitching. I did some finishing. So I do have some full finishes. I have a previous finish I'm going to show, and a new finish, and then a few whips. And then I did want to share my new to me DMC organization. And then if you want, at the end, I'll throw in a little bit of haul that I have and just talk a little bit about plans and things like that. So tune in and out as you see fit, or fast forward and slow down as you see fit. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments, or I'll of course put ways to reach me in the description below. But again, my name is Jennifer, and thank you so much for being here. So, okay, the first thing I want to show is my FFOs. So I was a good girl, and this past week I went through and I wrote down everything I could remember from all of my cross stitch in my little cross stitch journal that I have. That's from, I think I have the Fat Quarter Shop one, and I have the one that's from Primrose Cottage, so that I would have my details of things. And I realized I had a lot of projects that I had forgotten what I did. So I just try to get a little more organized. So hopefully I'll be organized today, but no promises. So the first thing I did finish was my little Valentine Quaker from Primrose Cottage. This I stitched, I think, mid-January, and I finished it at the last of January. So it took me about 2 weeks. I'm not focused on my face. I did stitch this on 32 count powder pink splash Lugana, and I used Classic Colorworks Carrie Berry for the floss, and I just finished it into a pillow. Let me tell you the saga of the pillow. I'm a novice sewer. I've sewed one other pillow, and I've made a project bag. That might be it. So I am trying to learn. So I'm not, and I don't have a lot of time to sew right now. So it'd been a while since I'd sewn anything. So I tried to finish this with rickrack around the edge, following like one of their other tutorials. It did not go well. And it's all due to me. Like, I was rushing when I was doing it because I had sick kids and no time, and you know, whatever the excuses are. It's my fault. I should have taken more time and care and things like that. But it ended up being that once I had finished, it looked so bad that I had to seam rip the pillow and the rickrack off. So at that point, it was just Operation Save My Stitch. So I got it all off, and then I just stitched it together as just a normal little pillow. I did, because I didn't want to tackle like closing it at the bottom at that point, because I've never done that. I did do just the hole in the back. I cut the hole. I stuffed it with poly pellets and polyester fiberfill, and then I covered it in just like felt hearts that I used. I die cut the hearts from, I have a die cut machine and lots of dies from paper crafting. So I just cut out some hearts from felt, and I could have sewn them again, but I didn't. I glued them, let's be real, because it was easier at the time, and finished that up, and I really like it. I think it turned out really cute. I did fiddle with, you know, adding some ribbon to it, adding some pins to it, and I just didn't like anything that I had. So futuristically, I may add like a chenille trim to it or something like that, or a ribbon if I find something I like, but at this point, I'm okay with it. And I just have it kind of in like a little bowl with some felt and wood hearts. So I'm really happy with that, and that was a really, really fun stitch and pretty quick for me. So I really like it. So I'm happy about that one. The other thing that I fully finished. I did stitch this, I'm not sure, maybe last year, but this is the Be Mine home from Primrose Cottage. They have a series of these little homes that are pretty small, and I just stitched this on 25 count potato fabric with just whatever DMC I had in my stash that was like pinks and greens. So I'm not sure what the floss is. And then I had this stitched for a long time before I fully finished it this past week. I just mounted it on sticky board and then added another fabric board behind it. And then I found this wood piece this past week at Hobby Lobby. It was, I think, $4.99, but it was when the wood was whatever it is, 40% off or something. So it was really inexpensive. And then I just used an ink pad. Again, I'm a paper crafter, so I have lots of ink. And I just stained the wood with my ink pad directly onto the wood and put my board back there. And then I do have two little pins, a little house and a little rose that I thought were cute. And I think those are from Just Another Button Company that I added to that. So that goes with my kind of Valentine's Day decor. Oh yeah, Valentine's Day. It was yesterday. Happy belated Valentine's. We didn't do anything because I've got sick kids and sick parents. So, but I hope you had a good day. And if you didn't have a good day, I hope you had a good day with yourself. You know, maybe stitching or watching a movie or, you know, treating yourself. But anyway, so that was part of my Valentine's Day finishes. And then the last thing I wanted to show was just a previous finish. If I can get it up here. Ugh, it's a big girl. So this is my Big Hearted Tiny Town. And it is also stitched on that 32 count. I'm trying to look at the camera, so if I'm looking away, that's what I'm doing. See if it focuses. It's stitched on that same fabric as my pillow, the 32 count powder pink splash Lugana. And this was my first time ever stitching on Lugana. I think I did this in 2023. And honestly, I don't remember the colors. It may be called for, but I don't recall. But just pretty pinks and reds on that pink fabric. I like pinks and reds together. I really do. And then I just backed it on some heart fabric. And then this comes off. If you haven't seen this before, I assume she still sells these. I will look, and if they are still sold, I can try and link it below. But this is, I think it's called the Shelf Sitter from Chantelle 141 Design. And you can buy the boards individually, and then you buy the stand. So if you want, you can just switch out boards with other tiny towns. So I do have Honey of a Tiny Town on a separate board that I can slip into this when I am done displaying Valentine's and want to put that in there. So that's how I did that finish. So that's just out right now. I do want to show previous finishes on my channel just because as I pull them out seasonally, I think it's always fun to see what you've done, and you know, other people may have never seen it. So that is one of my most proud pieces. I love that stitch. It was so much fun, and I really do want to do more tiny towns. If you're keeping track of Nashville Needlework Market releases, you may have seen that she just released, and I'm sorry, this is Heart and Hands, Big Hearted Tiny Town. She just released Nativity Tiny Town. So if you are someone that loves displaying or stitching nativities, it was beautiful, and that would be really, really pretty at Christmas time to put out, and however you finish it. So that was a fun thing to see as well. Okay, so now I will talk a little bit about whips. Again, I didn't get a ton done with coming back from vacation and then us all being under the weather, but I did okay, and I do have some starts since we last chatted, or since we first chatted, because it was my first time ever. The first thing I'm going to show, and then I talked about this in a little separate short video on my channel, and then I posted it on Instagram, but it was my travel stitch, my airplane stitch or my vacation stitch, and it was Ghost Love by Nathnolu. I just realized that everything is going to be backwards, I think. Everything you saw was flipped around. So Ghost Love by, I think it's Nathnolu on Etsy. And this is my start and whip. So I basically just done kind of the pink outline. And this is on maybe 28 count berry smoothie, I think. And it's just floss from my stash, just pinks. It was only a few colors, so I just pulled some pinks and reds. I'd hoped to have this done by Valentine's Day. Didn't happen. And let me tell you about travel stitching. So I did take my little case that I showed in my previous video with all my supplies, and that went through TSA just fine. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm still getting over the crud like everyone else. Here is where I ran into some travel stitching hiccups that I will know better for next time. I'm so sorry. Let me get a drink. Okay, sorry, I had to get a drink, and hopefully that will help with this stuff. Here is my hiccups with my travel stitching. The first thing, so I have short nails right now. I've broken them off. My natural nails are terrible right now, and I think it's just due to the dry weather. They all broke a few months ago. So I had Winnie the Pooh, really pretty nails for Disney that were very long for what I'm used to. So problem number one, it was really hard to stitch with those nails, and I didn't think about that. So that was a little bit challenging. My only other challenge was I would have got more done, but for some reason when I threw together this quick kind of travel stitch piece and case and all that stuff, I grabbed like a thing of old needles that were probably from when I very first started cross stitching, and I don't know what kind of needle it was that I had taken, but it was so thick. Like the whole needle was thick. And I don't mean like, oh, it was a size 26 needle versus 28 or whatnot. No, like the whole needle, it was a cross stitch needle, but it was super thick. And for some reason, that combined with my long nails just set me up for not stitching very well. And then the other thing is really, since I was alone with my son, any kind of downtime, like stitching by the pool, I was watching him the whole time or playing with him the whole time. You know, there were other kids, so I was making sure that everyone was, you know, good and playing nice and he was behaving and being safe. So really like my mind was not focused on stitching. So really the most stitching I did was like in the airport or like in our hotel at night when we were having like a little bit of a rest time or whatnot. So I will get back to it eventually. I may just save this for travel and have it for in the car. We do have some travel coming up in May, so I might take it with us then. The next thing I worked on, and I just briefly worked on this last night, literally, so you're not going to see a huge difference, but this is my Lola Crow Deadly Aquarium. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she's announcing her new stitch along, her new Sal today that's bird themed. I think it's today. I could be wrong. If it's not today, it's very soon. So if you are a Lola Crow fan, tune in. Let me know if you're going to be stitching along with whatever it is, even if you don't know what it is, because some people, I might do that. But this is my Deadly Aquarium. So essentially all I really worked on was, I'm going to do the other side, filling in, oh my gosh, the black. So nothing super exciting, but we're getting there. I think I mentioned last time this fabric, this is 32 count Juniper Lugana by Fabrics by Stephanie with the called for DMC, and it is very tight. I should have stitched probably with one thread, but I didn't know at the time that I could do that, or I should do, I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't think about it. But it probably would have been easier stitching had I done that. But it's going to look beautiful when it's done. It's just hard to stitch because everything is so squeezed tight in there. So we're getting there. I'll be honest, if I like her new one, I may start it as well and just have two going at the same time because they're fun. Again, I'm not putting restrictions on my starts this year. I'm just doing what I want. So yeah, the next thing I have is a new start, and I got quite a bit of progress done on this. I don't have a picture of the finished piece because the printout I have doesn't have one, and I only have a picture of the chart, so I will try to add one if I know how to do that. But it is Barbara Anna Designs, She Mad Hatter Dreams. And she's so pretty. I have almost finished her hair, and I think I'm going to work on her top hat soon. So if you're unfamiliar, this is like a take on Barbara Anna, but the Mad Hatter. And I will put a picture at the end of our video, a few Disney pictures, but me and my son did meet Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter at Magic Kingdom, which they don't often go there to my understanding. So that was really fun. And it was literally, I think, the one character meet that I made him do because I wanted to meet them. So that was really fun. So I came home and I'd had the floss and everything to do this forever. I bought the chart years ago. And I was like, all right, I'm starting it. It's my Disney inspiration. So this is, what's my fabric? Hold on. Okay. So this is 28 count Atomic Ranch Lestrange, which I think is going to look great. I think the model was stitched on more of like maybe a gray brown. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to look great. This is really fun to stitch. I didn't want to put it down. So I'm probably going to dedicate a decent amount of time to that this coming month. Okay. Sorry, I'm also listening for my children. Everyone's home. Everyone's grouchy because of sickness, so we're a little hairy today. It's okay. My last whip that I worked on, and actually I guess it's a finish because the month is finished, but this is my hands-on design Year of Celebration Season 2. So I finished February, and these are pretty quick to stitch. I do have a mistake in it. I don't know if you can tell. Oh well. I just usually fudge it, and if I can't fudge it, then I'll frog it, but I fudged it. There's just a little bit of an issue with one of my leaves, but I don't think it's really noticeable. The funny thing, though, is the 3 hearts on top, the variegated thread was very variegated. So they're a little strange looking to me, but I didn't want to have to pull them out and then worry about figuring out where the variegation would hit on that thread. It was an odd strand. I think it's maybe Ladybug, and some of it was super, I don't know, it was super variegated. So some places it looked just like the other red that's in there, and some places it was super pink. So it's a little funny looking to me, but that's okay. We're just gonna roll with it. So that was a lot of fun to stitch as well. And again, these stitched really quickly. I am stitching on 25 count Prim Lugana, and I am using the Classic Colorworks set that is from Kimberly Jolly at Fat Quarter Shop when she stitched this. So I'm assuming you can still get that. If not, they can, if you reach out to them, I think they could help you figure out what it is. Or I'm happy to tell you, I just don't have them sitting here with me. But this is the whole piece so far. So next is March. And then actually since last year I started weird. I started in April last year, so I did April, May, and June already, and so I have March to do. So I will take a break from this once March is over and come pick it back up in July, or maybe in the middle of June, whenever, to keep going on it. But that will give me some time to do some other stitching that isn't on this, because I am gonna finish this year. Like, that's my plan and my goal, and I don't see why it wouldn't happen. Okay. The last whip, I thought that was the last one, but I forgot about the biggest whip start that I have. Hold on, let me grab it, because it's a big thing. Okay, I had to turn the camera around, and you're gonna see my messy, like, craft room desk. But this was the easiest way to show this. So I talked about in my last video that I got the supplies to start my first long dog sampler. So I'm stitching the Fisher King by Long Dog Samplers. And let me come back. I have it still in like a Qsnap, and then I have it on this new stand that holds the Qsnap, because I knew with it being such a large piece, I wasn't ever going to be able to hold like the Qsnap. So I have a very small start just right here. It's part of the border. Let me see if I can grab a picture. Okay. Sorry, I had to like maneuver. So this is what it looks like. It is ginormous. It will take me years. It's 367 by 415. I intend that this will take me several years. This is on 32 count smoky white linen. And I am stitching, oh, I didn't write it. Oh, it's right here. Okay. This is my thread. And this is the first time I'm stitching with silks. This is PR 137. And this is from Silks For You on Etsy, and it comes from Australia. And this is what it looks like. So really pretty greens. I bought a whole hank of it. Now, this is completely stolen, this whole like kitted up idea from Steph at Lindy Stitches. So this was not my idea. I literally stole her idea because I liked it so much. So I want to give credit to her. And I will tell you, literally, I don't know, I maybe have like 100 stitches or so in this, with this silk. You can tell the difference. Oh my gosh, if you stitch with silk, you know, but I didn't know. It just glides so smooth. And my contraption here is funny looking. I don't know if anybody has a better way, but the fabric is, I have it cut to like 36 by 36 or something, with lots of extra margin. So I have it kind of all gathered around with magnets on my frame and whatnot. And I will link this little stand. This is just kind of, it can go on the table or on your lap. I got it off Etsy, and it is, if it's still available, I think they have a few. It is on sale to just hold your Qsnap and maybe a nerd hoop. And the nice thing is you can just flip it over to bury your threads. I saw someone else that had this on their channel. I don't remember who it is, so I apologize. But I was like, oh, that looks super convenient for all those big projects that you have where your hand gets tired if you have a hoop or a Qsnap. So there's my long dog start. And I'm probably just going to kind of let this hang out and work on it when I can. I am stitching, I don't know if it's going to be able to focus enough. Because the border is so big, I am stitching and I'm leaving uncrossed every... Are you going to focus? I don't think it's going to focus well enough. But I'm leaving uncrossed every 10th stitch just to make counting easier. So that's something I've recently started doing just so I don't get confused. So yeah, so there's my first long dog sampler. Let me know if you have questions. If you are someone that mentioned to me tips and advice on stitching with silk and stitching with linen like specifically about the whole where you start on linen. I had no idea. So thank you. I went and watched the videos you suggested and I looked up the things because I did not know that. And in fact, I probably need to go back and double check that my other linen start is correct. So thank you so much for those helpful comments. I appreciate it a lot. So we'll see how my linen stitch goes. It was probably silly to start this on linen knowing that this is my first silk, my first long dog, my first big linen thing, but that's okay. You learn as you go. So there's that guy. Okay, Stitchy friends, I'm jumping back on here. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I took a 4-hour nap earlier because I was so tired from not sleeping because of my baby. And I woke up and I remembered I didn't show my whip of my blue flower in praise of pollinators. So real quick, I just wanted to share that. It's on 32 count Stormy Night Lugana. And then since the last time I showed it, I finished these flowers and then I did the whole butterfly outline. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It is a really thick fabric again, so it's kind of hard to stitch with 2 strands like I'm doing, but it is really pretty. And I'm using just called for DMC, and then it does have a few over dyed in it as well. So I just wanted to share that so that I had a record of the progress for this video. So I'll just insert this clip in where it makes sense to fit it. So anyways, thanks. Okay. That was all my starts, whips, finishes, all the things. I'm sorry if it was a little muddled. Again, I'm running on low sleep and energy, and I hear my baby crying. She's fine. She's with her dad. But if you're a mom, you know that like instinctual, I need to go check on my kid, even though they're fine with their caregiver or parent, whoever. But I know that I need to get back to my kiddo soon. So I'll try to wrap this up. I did want to show my new to me DMC storage. I am not a floss dropper. So when I stitch with DMC, I leave it. Let me just show. I leave it in the regular skein and then I just pull a length as I go. And that's just because, one, I don't want to spend the time floss dropping because it just takes a while for me and I'd rather spend that time stitching. I also sometimes only need, when those times where you just need a few stitches with one color, I don't want a full length that I then have to pick back up. So I'll sometimes just pull a little bit of my floss off and use it. And then I don't have extra pieces floating around because I'm bad. A lot of times those extra pieces annoy my personality and I'm like, just get rid of them, which is silly, but that's how I am. So I did see this. This is not something that I created. Other people use this storage system. So I had previously had all my DMC in floss away bags, which is how I use them usually when I have them in a project. I like that a lot. But I had them like on hooks on a hanger in my closet. So I did have them like in numerical order, but it was still really hard to like see what I had, know what I had, get them out and off the hooks. And I just found it cumbersome. I also had like a spreadsheet where I had all my floss, including my fancy floss. But again, like remembering to go back and take stuff off and put stuff in. Again, it was just too much for my brain. I want to keep it simple. And so I saw this somewhere else where people, and I'm going to try to get this into frame if I can. And it's a big kid. So I got an envelope stuck to the bottom. I will link these below. They're the Iris. I don't know exactly the name of them, but I will link it below. They're Iris drawers. And they are fairly long, so they hold like the whole long skein. So what I've done, and I did invest in 4 of these. They were on sale when I bought them, but it was an investment. You could probably buy fewer because a decent amount of floss will fit in them. But what I've done is I've essentially I bought 4 of these units, and I will put a picture in, or I can just show you the whole stack over there. But I bought 4, and I went through, and with a Sharpie, just like a regular Sharpie, I wrote the name or number on each drawer, and I allowed for 2 colors per drawer. And that covered basically the whole range of DMC. I don't have every DMC, but I do have quite a bit, and I am working towards completing a DMC collection at some point, but I don't have like the variegated ones or anything like that. But what I've done, instead of using a label maker, I did think about that, or making labels, but what I've done to make it easily changeable, I just wrote it with Sharpie, and then you can see I have little dots next to the color, and that tells me, do I have that floss? So it's super easy to come over here, find the number. If it has a dot, I obviously have it, pull it, and if I'm going to use it, then I can just use a tiny bit of rubbing alcohol and erase the dot. Or if I need to change something, I can just use rubbing alcohol and erase it. So I have 4 of these big units, and they stack on top of each other. They aren't super stable stacked, so they wouldn't like, I wouldn't have them standing alone. But this has been so nice already. I think I did this a few weeks ago. I think it was after I got back from Disney, so it hasn't been too long. But it's so nice to just know what I have. My son helped me. He would like find the numbers, match them here as best he could. He turned 4. His birthday was a few days ago. Find the numbers as best he could, match them. He'd put them in there for me. He'd help me do some of the dots. So that was that was fun. But it's been so nice. Now, I know that this is not, it's not small. So it's not like everyone has room for this or has a budget for it. Again, you could probably get away with having fewer units and putting more colors in each unit. Like you could definitely fit more than just 2 colors in there if you didn't have a ton of skeins of it. Like I have a ton of skeins of like white and ecru are in there, but there's probably like, I don't know, at least 6 skeins in there. So you could put, you know, more in there. I do have a different storage system for my overdyes, which they're not really organized by name or anything like that, or even by brand. They're more just organized by color family, because that's usually how I need to pick them and find them. And they're just in some clear acrylic drawers. So if you're interested in seeing that, I can show you that too. They're really aesthetically pleasing. This isn't super aesthetic, but this is super functional for me. So I did want to show this just in case you hadn't seen it before. Again, this was not my idea. I saw it somewhere else that people use these, but it has been super helpful for me because I'm the type of person that's like, do I have that floss? Well, 1, 2, 3 Stitch makes it super easy to just add the floss to the cart and you just buy it. Well, then you end up with floss you may not need, which is not a super big problem, but it is if you're on a budget or have limited space. So this has been really nice and helpful to me to see what I have and what I can pull and whatnot. So I did want to share that. So I'm super happy about that. And then let's see, the last things I wanted to talk about real quick, I want to talk about plans, and I wanted to show a tiny bit of haul. If you don't like plans or haul, you can feel free to tune out. I do have a few plans for the coming maybe month or so. I probably won't start anything new in February. There's only a little bit of February left. So I'm going to focus on my whips. I do plan in March to start one or more of the Stacy Nash animal crackers. So it's been going around quite a bit. Everybody's stitching Maggie May, the little rabbit. I did just get the overdyed and linen in the mail to stitch her and Bobbin, which is the little mouse on the spool. I've had those patterns since they came out last year, but I just now got the thread. So I kind of figured that would be kind of spring starts. That's my only real big plan of starting anything for sure. Except, and we can talk Nashville or not talk Nashville. If you're following Nashville Needlework Market releases, let me know what your favorites are, anything you might like have to have. I have been shopping a bit, and I am shopping through Lindy Stitches. So Lindy Stitches does allow you to shop, and then they will refund shipping if you make multiple purchases. They also have a wish list feature, so you can wish list what you want. But I did pre-order a few things. I've pre-ordered the cookbook, which I've never gotten the cookbook before, so I'm excited about that. I pre-ordered the blue flowers charts, several of those, all the critters. What else? There's been a few more. So maybe when all my charts come, we'll do a Nashville haul, but it's almost shameful, so maybe not. The only other things I've gotten recently haul-wise, I mean, I've bought some charts and things like that because aren't we just chart collectors? I have gotten quite a bit. This didn't all come at once, but I have gotten quite a bit of fabric from Stitch Me. I am in their monthly club, but they also have ready to ship fabrics and, you know, sales. And then if you're in that club, you get a discount coupon every month, which turns out to be quite a good deal. So I'll just show really quickly what I've gotten because we don't need to get too into it. But I got Lilith, and some of these are Lugana, some are linen. Honey, which was the most recent monthly club. And I'm sorry for the crinkling. Morning Fog. My Sweetheart. These are just yummy. Yummy, yummy. Cobbler. Tundra. Sorry, there's glare and crinkling. If you're in sensory overload, I'm sorry. Winter Mix. I love this one. It's like a blue purpley nightshade. This is what took me out. Oh, Conversation Hearts. I loved it so much, I had to get it in linen and Lugana. It's those, you know, those boxes of Conversation Hearts that tasted disgusting, but you had to have at Valentine's Day when you were a kid. Oh, so good. And then these, I think I posted these on Instagram, but these were like a ready to ship Valentine's Day release. Toe beans, little kitty toe beans. Love Potion. And Blush. Blush is gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I am loving the Stitch Me fabrics. It might be my favorite, and I may never go back. I don't know. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this was jumbled and chaotic, but such is life in this moment right now for me. I'm hoping it calms down in the next week. If everybody could just will my baby daughter to have a tooth come in, that would be great. Because we're in that stage where she's just miserable. But such is life, so it'll come when it comes. I would love to know, again, what you're stitching, if you have questions, what you're buying for Nashville or what you'd like to have for Nashville. Oh, one last thing. I have had so many wonderful people reach out to me, a lot of them in Texas where I live, that are like, where do you live? You know, could we get together? Kind of like just trying to be friends and stitch together. And unfortunately, I'm in like no man's land out here by myself in East Texas. Someone did mention though, like a Zoom stitch. I wanted to just kind of ask the community, if you're watching, is there an interest out there for kind of a group Zoom stitch? I'm wondering in my mind, because I just moved here last year. I don't know anybody here and I stay at home. Is there interest for a group Zoom stitch where like maybe once a month or twice a month or something, we just do a Zoom sit and stitch where you just sit and stitch with friends and just chat with friends. Because I may look into seeing about hosting that if there is a decent interest. I'd have to figure out the best way to do it, the best way to give that information to folks so that we don't get like scammers and people joining that aren't, you know, real stitching people. But I'm definitely willing and interested in that idea. So if you're interested at all in that, let me know and I'll kind of gauge the group and see if that's something I want to move forward with. Because I think for many of us, we don't have real life stitching friends. And I mean that in the sense of someone that lives near us that we see all the time, that stitches, that we can see. And me personally, I don't have the freedom to like travel to a lot of retreats right now with little kids and things like that. So it's really, I feel kind of isolated, which is why Flosstube has been wonderful, to meet people and talk to people that are sharing your similar passions and things like that. So just let me know your thoughts. And again, let me know if you have questions. Thank you so much for your kindness and your support. I probably forgot to say something or say thank you to something. But just know that my heart has been filled, my cup has been filled by just the overwhelming kindness of people. And I tend to think that stitchy people, everybody is friends. Like, we all have friends now. Once you meet your stitchy friends, they're your stitchy friends. So thank you for your friendship and your kindness. And I hopefully will be back soon, but I am happy to answer any questions you may have. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.